bit of a strange one for you tonight on the live show here on Forever United TV, in two contrasting stories about Manchester United's goalkeeping situation. You can see going across the bottom of your screen there is one story about Diogo Costa, which we'll get into in a minute, but another story which is going to come out more in tomorrow's papers as well, about Ruben Amorim's decision to keep Andre Onana as his number one. In fact, sending his recruitment team out to find particular targets in the outfield rather than at goalkeeper. I want to get your thoughts on this. I'm going to read through this story and go through it in detail. We have other stories as well regarding Jobe Bellingham as well. We want to talk about him and Manchester United looking into him as another priority this summer. Apparently an offer is ready to go. The deal can be made. An agreement on the price is near enough there. I'll read into that, talk about that. Antony's been talking. Amorim has also been talking. There is plenty to get through and plenty to get on with. So let's get into the show, and we're going to start with your comments as well, please, on this. The story coming around on Andre Onana and him possibly being Amorim's number one next season. Look, whichever way you're looking in from this, whether you think Andre Onana needs another chance, whether you think it is the outfield like Amorim, look, there is plenty of cause for him to go, and there's a few arguments for him to stay. Obviously, he had a good game against Lyon in the Champions League. We're not there yet. In the Europa League the other night. So a lot of people would say, well, yeah, maybe. You know my opinion on this. I'm going to be full on, just break the news to you and try and be professional on this and not go too opinionated on it. I am never going to be convinced by Andre Onana. But Ruben Amorim, and you've seen the emotion, you've seen the embrace, you've seen him backing him. You can see the connection between the two men. I'm just stating facts and what I've seen, that's all. I don't shoot the messenger, please, for God's sake. You know how I feel, and that's why I wanted to make that point straight from the get-go here. I want him gone. It's as simple as that. That's my decision. But let's look at what is happening here in this story. And it is quite clear that there is something still there between Ruben Amorim and Andre Onana. Now, this is, for me, this is the concerning bit from it. So the story itself has come from the Daily Mirror, and it's come from Simon Mullock of the Daily Mirror, and he writes, and you're probably going to see this in the morning papers as well, I'm guessing, because this is circulated just this afternoon. So when you look at it, it says, Andre Onana is set to be the club's number one goalkeeper next season. Amorim has instructed his recruitment staff to concentrate their efforts on bringing in a number of outfield players, with a striker, two midfielders and a centre-back, and at least one wing-back high on his shopping list. Now, we can get into the detail of that in a moment as well, in terms of the priority list there. Centre-back again. Good God, honestly, everybody else seems to be under the spotlight, apart from the goalkeeper when it comes to Ruben Amorim's thoughts. Now, obviously, he's come out and he said he's always going to back his players. He's right behind his players. He's always going to be there until he gets fired, basically, was what he said. I've talked about this quite a lot, to be honest. And Ruben's thoughts and comments on this, I think, are a bit concerning, to be honest, because he's not witnessed anything like Manchester United before, until now, obviously, in this season and what he's done. But he doesn't know or understand what adversity is as a manager at the top level at all. And he should learn and listen to what has happened to other managers before. If you don't make cutthroat decisions, look, I always had confidence in Ruben because he did what he did with Antony. He did what he did with Marcus Rashford, more importantly. Nothing against Antony. I got more against Marcus Rashford and the way that he treated Ruben and the fans and this football club. Again, you all know, if you followed me for long enough, how I feel about Marcus Rashford. But that gave me a little bit of confidence in how Ruben Amorim operated. This, I feel, he's been sucked in a little bit by a relationship. And I'm only judging this, and I could be completely wrong with this, but I'm judging this off what I've read and what I'm listening to right now with it. I don't think that this is the right call at all in judging him just off the back of an emotional night. I don't think he is, and I think there's something in it. I think he believes in Andre Onana, and it may just take him a bit longer to realise that he isn't good enough. He simply isn't good enough. And if Andre Onana stays, I'm looking at it and I'm saying, well, at least we've got Vitek coming back. Surely you cannot be relying on Andre Onana to be your number one goalkeeper next season. But this report is saying that Amorim has said yes. Now, the counteract to that report, as you can see, is there for everybody to see in terms of the news at the bottom of your screen, which is, and the MEN are reporting this as well, but the Record Portugal, their publication over in Portugal, are saying that Manchester United sent an observer scout to FC Porto's game yesterday to watch Diogo Costa. Please, manifest it, Reds, manifest it, Reds. If there was one goalkeeper that I had to pick out of everyone we've been linked with so far, it would be Costa. For me, anyway, he's a quality goalkeeper. And I think was definite improvement on what we've got. It's not difficult, let's be honest. Again, I don't want the sentimental crap creeping into Manchester United's mindset here. Ruben likes Onana. Onana's a likeable character. Everyone likes him, except when he drops a clanger and he costs the team. Now, if United need to move forward, we need to start acting like a big club. We should not be looking at certain moments in games to judge off of what we are going to do into the transfer window in the summer. And you can see and you can feel my, I wouldn't call it absolute anger. Like, I'm not raging at this. I can see judgments here and calls that are being made, and I can understand why. I just feel like the outcome of it is bad for Manchester United. And I don't like the fact that Andre Onana has even got a chance of being in Manchester United's team next season. There's another report that came out earlier on today. Manchester United will not entertain any bids for Andre Onana unless they're well in excess of 20 million. Now, I get that because that's what Manchester United need to cover financial fair play and actually turn a little bit of a profit or break even anyway. Look, yeah, this is the concerning bit of news for me from today in looking at everything that Manchester United are looking into. There's just a concerning report there from Simon Mullock of the Daily Mirror saying that Andre Onana is still going to be Man United's number one goalkeeper next season. Look, there is a big chance that this might happen anyway, and you could probably argue this point even without this report. But it's there, and whenever you see it, whenever you read it, you just get concerned. And you know what? Automatically, you look to that embrace between Amorim and Onana in the game. You look at what he said about him, how he's looking after him, how he feels like he is a top goalkeeper. And I know I've said before in press conferences, they're never going to slaughter the players in front of the media and in front of the TV cameras either. They're never going to throw them under the bus. They're always going to back their players when talking to the cameras. And I thought that that's what it was, but again, you can see the affection there. So that was my concern in this. And this is why I got a little bit concerned when I seen this news, because I was reading up on the price for Onana. I thought that's good. And I'm reading up on the Diogo Costa situation. The scouts looking at him. I'm thinking that's good. That's progression. But obviously, Man United's number 2 priorities this summer are goalkeeper and striker. They have to be, because they're the 2 players that are failing this football team right now. Rasmus Hojlund up front, on his own, not good enough. Andre Onana in goal at any point, you could argue, yeah, he did a good game the other night, but you know he's going to drop a clanger again in the next few games down the line. And he's done it consistently. And there've been huge clangers. I get Ruben's thoughts on the team scoring goals and less pressure being put on the back line. I get that, I do. And you know what? Maybe I might be put in my place if Onana stays. We buy outfield players, we play better, we score more goals. The defence is more confident because they've got goals in the bag, and the goalkeeper can have a better game, feeling that he's not going to be scrutinised for every single error that he makes. But Manchester United went 2-0 up against Leon the other night and still blew it. We went 4-2 down off that. Look, it goes both ways. We've been behind and come back. We've been in front and been pegged back. There is a situation that is developing with the system, and you can see it developing, but we haven't got the players for it. So, I don't know. Maybe, am I wrong? I'm asking the live chat right now. Am I wrong in thinking we should just forget about Onana and get rid of him? Is what Ruben said right? Because you know I'm right behind Ruben. I've said it many a times, but is there a point when you just look at him and go, right, mate, you now need to start making a bigger decisions? We cannot continue like this. We can't. And I said before, the confidence I've had in Ruben and what he's done with players, the recruitment team and everybody in the hierarchy now at Manchester United, not just looking at the Europa League and what's happened there. They're going to look at errors, they're going to look at mistakes, they're going to look at why Manchester United are where we are in the league, and they're going to judge it off that. And hopefully that's what prevails through it into the summer transfer window. I do hope that the Saudi Pro League come in with a big bid for Onana, and United cannot refuse it, because quite clearly we have got other goalkeepers at Manchester United that are capable, worst case scenario, and Onana can leave and United will have profit there to spend on the rest of the team. That's just how I see it. Vitek comes in, You sell Onana, you've not lost anything. You've got a keeper on less wages who's better, and you can spend the rest of your money, like you said, Ruben, on your centre back, your two midfielders, a wing back, and a forward. You know, that it makes perfect sense to me anyway. But yeah, I'm going to get into the chat on this right now anyway. Please do keep your comments coming in. Make sure if you're loving the content, you give the video a like. Nearly 100 of you already have done that. Thank you so much. Straight into the comment section on a super chat with Ross. Thank you very much, mate. Seems like they are targeting other positions above goalkeeper, and I don't think the money will be there for a goalkeeper this summer. I want the Amande at centre-back, but I want him knowing it will probably not come this year. Well, there we go. That's it, isn't it? When you're looking at certain players, again, there are plenty available, but there are priority positions for United to be looking at. And what that report says there in terms of where Manchester United are looking, what positions we're looking for in particular, I'll just read it back again. Amorim has instructed his recruitment staff to concentrate their efforts on bringing in a number of outfield players with a striker, 2 midfielders, a centre-back and at least 1 wing-back high on his shopping list. Now, I can understand the centre midfielders. We need ball-carrying players. We discussed that this morning. I think we need to go top-heavy. I think we need a 10 and a 9 and possibly 2 10s and a 9, personally. You could argue that Ahmad could come back in. Now, there has been talk about Ahmad going at right wing back. There has also been talk about Ruben wanting the likes of Roger Fernandez from Braga, who would be a good player to come in. I argued the point this morning that you've got Jadon Camasin and Bendito Mentato coming through United's ranks also to challenge for that position. So there's many ways to look at it. We do need another wing back on the right. Yes. We need a midfielder. Yes. And we do need a striker. Yes. But we need a goalkeeper and a 10. And that definitely is ahead of a centre-back and another central midfielder for me right now. We need that quality there. Look, you can argue all day that we don't need a 10 if we buy one and a striker. I get it. Yes, you've got Mount, you've got Ahmad, you've got Bruno. You'll have the player coming in. And obviously, you've got plenty of cover there, haven't you, with that. But the number 8, I think, is I think the fact that we've had a few different combinations at 8 now is telling us that Ruben sees that as a key role in his side. Let's not forget, Ruben's man was Agate, but Ruben also sold Agate. So if he was that important, why did he sell him? He developed him to a point where he was good to go to PSG. Could he not turn that deal down because it was so much money and the club said he had to be going? I don't know, but it makes you think, doesn't it? Does he look at that midfield role as a massive, massive part of it? Because that goes on to the next news that we want to talk about as well in a moment, which is the Jobe Bellingham news. But I just want to get through a few more chats on this. Not convinced by the Daily Mirror then, Richard. No. I get that, mate. Let's just see what else we've got in here. Onana will let the team down next year. He can't be trusted, says Rav. True. If he's keeping Onana, he's signed his own sacking note. Ten Hag 2.0. Philip says, hi, Adam. I've been checking on Osimhen. He leads a Rashford lifestyle. Go for Gyökeres. Too old, won't go for him. Too expensive, mate. Sadly, not happening. I don't think he leads a Rashford lifestyle, mate. I'm pretty certain that's a bit over the top. The thing is, though, if you're leading a Rashford lifestyle and putting up nearly 30 goals in a season so far, you kind of get away with it a little bit, don't you? He's walking the walk and talking the talk. Rashford just talked the talk and didn't walk anything. Well, he did walk. He walked around the pitch. But Osimhen's a different kettle of fish. If Amorim is going to play academy kids, whatever the priorities could be subject to change. Because Agate is good with recovering the ball, but is shite with passing the ball, which Amorim didn't like. Let's just see now. Can we get both Delap and Gyökeres possibly if you get Champions League? Yeah, maybe, but I don't think United will be going for Victor Gyökeres. They won't be having it at all because they don't want to spend that amount of money on a 27-year-old. That's the word coming out of the Athletic on Gyökeres and why it's gone very, very quiet. Everyone's getting excited because Gyökeres is in the news after scoring his 50th plus goal this season. That's where we're at with Gyökeres right now anyway. But look, I want to move on to the news on Jobe Bellingham and what is happening there. So Manchester United are looking into Jobe Bellingham. They have been doing for a long, long time. United could have signed Jobe Bellingham like they could have signed Jude Bellingham but passed up on the opportunity because the Glazers didn't want to spend the money. Now, Jobe Bellingham is hitting all numbers that are beyond anybody else's numbers in the Championship. Yes, you could say that is the Championship and that is a different ball game altogether. But in terms of players under the age of 19 in all top leagues in European football, Jobe Bellingham leads the way and he's number one for most touches, most passes completed, most short passes completed, most duels, sliding tackles, aerial duels won, aerial duels. He leads the way in everyone. He's a ball-carrying midfielder who is strong, who is dynamic, who's reasonably quick as well, and has now got bags of experience from the Championship. And yes, I know the Championship is not the Premier League, but Jobe Bellingham is going to be taken by a Premier League side. One way or the other, he's going to be playing Premier League football next season. Could actually be with Sunderland if they pull themselves together and get through the playoffs. But hey, look, that's no guarantee. And I think as soon as Sunderland fail in the playoffs, Jobe Bellingham will be on his way. Chris Rigg will be on his way. All these sorts of players will be leaving the Championship next season. Could Manchester United's investment in a number 8 be Jobe Bellingham? That's the question you've got to ask. When United's looking at 2 midfielders, maybe it's Jobe and one other. Again, it all comes down to how much money Man United have got to spend. I did a show this morning where we was talking about getting Matthias Cunha and Delap over the line, and then you're looking to bring in the likes of possibly a Shirke, I thought, as another 10. I thought we could handle the right-hand side for the start of the season. But if we do win the Europa League, you can expect maybe 6 or 7 players to be arriving at Manchester United this summer. Young and old. But Jobe Bellingham as a teenager will come into Man United's midfield. He wants that ball-carrying, strong, powerful, physical midfielder. And Jobe fits the bill. He's good in the air. He's good on the ball. He's good at passing. He leads the way in every single division. And he's playing more games than anybody else because he's in the Championship, basically. But, again, it's going to be a deal. There is rumours that it's going to be approximately 30 million for Jobe Bellingham. Now, is that too much? That's the next question I want to come to in the chat. Is 30 million too much for Jobe Bellingham? That's what I'm posing to you right now, because that's the figure that is being brandished around for Jobe Bellingham. Is there anyone in the chat that actually watches a lot of the Championship? Are you interested in the Championship? Do you think that Manchester United should actually be looking at these players from the Championship and not letting them go to other clubs? We haven't got a good record when it comes to bringing players up from the divisions below into our team. It hasn't really worked for Manchester United that well, to be clear, I think. But like, Jobe is a very good player, and we were in for him before, so there is something in this deal, and I think Manchester United will be looking to make something happen for Jobe Bellingham. But again, I think a lot of people would say I would prefer spending 50 million on Edison rather than a teenager in Jobe Bellingham with no Premier League experience. Yes, Edison hasn't got any Premier League experience either. So there's your decision. 20 million on someone who's played at the highest level against the best on the planet in Edison. Or you're spending 30 million on Jobe Bellingham, who is the best young kid around in the Championship. But again, is he going to be able to make that step up? Now, his brother tells you yes. And that's obviously what people are going to say. If he's got anything of Jude Bellingham in him, he's going to go from the Championship to a higher level and he's going to smash it. This is what you're looking at right now. He's going down the exact same pathway as his brother is right now, in terms of doing well and hitting all brilliant numbers in the Championship and attracting attention from some of Europe's biggest hitters. And I think this is where we're looking at possibly seeing Jobe Bellingham follow suit and do exactly the same thing as what his brother did in making that move and going up to a higher level and still producing the goods. We will see, obviously, because I said it a minute ago, I think Jobe Bellingham is definitely going to be leaving Sunderland unless they get promoted. I don't see it. But look, we won't know until that has actually happened. But Manchester United, who have been tracking Jobe Bellingham for a while, are still very interested. And Vival, who has now taken over Manchester United's recruitment side of thing, is on top of this as well. And that's the stories that are going around right now on Jobe Bellingham. So, yeah, very, very interesting. If you have just joined us as well, welcome to the show. Please get your comments in. I know there's a big Premier League game going on right now, so if you're playing catch-up, watching this later on afterwards, I went at a different time because I'm going out tonight, so wasn't waiting until after the Newcastle and Villa game. So if you could just put your comments in after the live is finished, that would be fantastic. But yes, that's the questions I'm asking. Are you concerned that there is a story coming out that Andre Onana is going to be Man United's number one goalkeeper next season? That's a story coming from the Mirror. Are you concerned that United are going to spend 30 million on a championship teenager for their central midfield options? Ruben wants, apparently, and I don't believe this, just so you're clear, Ruben wants a centre-back, 2 central midfielders, a right wing-back and a striker. Right wing-back I get, central midfielder I get, striker, yes, but I'd rather have a 10 than a centre-back right now. I'm not too concerned about centre-back. I'm not even counting the likes of Johnny Evans and Victor Lindelof leaving as players we need to replace. I think we've already replaced them, because we've got Mazraoui in for one and we've got Heaven in for another. They weren't originally in at the start of this season. They were brought in January, so I think Heaven has replaced one of them. And Mazraoui, starting with Ten Hag and the back four on the right-hand side, has now come into a centre-back situation in the back three for Ruben. So there's another centre-back to cover the likes of Johnny Evans anyway. So I don't see why. But someone just said a minute ago, I think it was actually Rawls with the super chat, who said that I would take Diomande. Like, yeah, Diomande would be a very, very good signing for Manchester United. Remember the story we were doing not too long ago about Inacio being contacted by United, and that Portugal was saying this deal was done. I think it was Ojogo, the Portuguese publication, was saying that Inacio to United was agreed and done. Interesting. Very, very interesting. But yes, in terms of this morning as well, we did have a story about Osimhen's wages being agreed. And all United had to do was negotiate with Napoli. I've heard nothing else on that at all. And nothing did come of that report from this morning. I did say I was a bit sceptical about that deal and what was actually going on and what was written in that report. But yes, as far as I know, still nothing on that one. And nothing in terms of any agreement in place for personal terms with Osimhen. So, yes, we'll just have to wait and see. Until the season start finishing out for these players at their respective clubs, we're not going to get anything concrete on them ones. Like I said, United will have to move fast when the June window opens, because that's going to be the interesting stage because of that 1 month of being able to do transactions before the financial year ends. We talked about that earlier on. United may be looking at Jobe Bellingham as a player to come in if United are not in the Champions League, for instance. Maybe we could look at that. Maybe that's a signing that United could look at to go, do you know what? A full Premier League season with no European football for Jobe is the right way to go forward. And you could understand that, couldn't you, really? I could see that happening. I could see United actually getting Jobe Bellingham in and investing that much into a young teenage midfielder. Let's not forget, he's a teenager, he's young, but he's got bags and bags of experience now. He's been playing for a while in that midfield, in the Championship. And I think he's ready to actually, he's ready to come through, I feel, anyway, Jobe Bellingham. So let's just see how this one develops. But it is looking like momentum is moving in, bringing Jobe Bellingham in from the stories that we've read anyway. Another new super chat from Ross. Thank you very much, mate. If United swap Rasmus as part of an Osimhen deal, what would happen to the money they still owe on him PSR-wise? Is it offset by the fact Osimhen is worth more? Now, in terms of that, I think Manchester United wouldn't do a swap. They would do a transaction, which would be, we agree to buy Rasmus for this fund, you agree to buy Osimhen for this amount of funds. See, the thing is, when you look at the situation as it is, it kind of works for Manchester United better because Napoli are in a desperate situation with Osimhen. They have to sell him, and they've said that they will sell Osimhen for a cheaper price if someone comes in early in the window, i.e. June, when the new window opens. So that could be 58, 55 million. They're willing to drop the price for someone to come in early and take Osimhen. So that could be where Manchester United move. United won't accept anything less than 50 million for Rasmus Hojlund because that breaks even. If Napoli wanted to take the 55 million for Osimhen, take Rasmus Hojlund as a young protege to work underneath, say, Lukaku and learn his trade there in Napoli, then that might work for them as well. They've got money in, and obviously they've bought Rasmus. It's just like a money exchange, basically. I think that's how they will do it. I don't think it will be an official swap. I don't know how that would balance out. To be honest, I've never seen it done. Not at that level anyway. Not two strikers like that. But actually, in valuations right now from both clubs, Rasmus and Osimhen are the same price. Get that. That is ludicrous, isn't it? But Napoli want about 55 with an early sale. United want about 50 million for Rasmus Hojlund to break even. I would be flabbergasted if Manchester United managed to move Rasmus Hojlund on for that price and bring in Osimhen the other way. It would be absolutely crazy if that happened. It would be ridiculous. But look, stranger things again, and you can never say never in the world of the transfer market, especially with Manchester United. There were deals that I didn't think United would get done last summer, but we did. So let's see. Let's see on that one. But yeah, that will be an interesting scenario. I cannot. The main thing from that is the fact that Napoli value Osimhen the same as Manchester United value Rasmus Hojlund. The world has gone crazy. The football world has gone absolutely mental. If that is real, which according to reports it is, then that is absolutely ludicrous. It is. Because he's not. He's twice the player, Osimhen, of what Rasmus Hojlund is. And everybody knows this. But hey, look, if United and Napoli want to make this deal happen, then go for it. I think Napoli would be interested more in Garnacho, not Rasmus Hojlund. I think Rasmus stays as a number 2 striker to wherever it is we bring in as our number 1 striker in the window, and Garnacho goes. I think there's more chance Garnacho leaves because I think Rasmus is happy to wait his turn. Yeah, he might have taken the number 9 shirt and think that he's top dog, but let's be honest, everybody in world football knows that Rasmus Hojlund cannot run that line on his own for Manchester United. He's not good enough. If you bring in a proper striker and Rasmus starts to learn behind him, there's a better chance, I think, because I think he'll put the effort in and has got room to improve. Manchester United right now, and I think obviously on that, Rasmus Hojlund will get more game time than what Garnacho will, because I don't think Garnacho gets near the starting lineup. If Mount gets fit, big if, Ahmad comes back, you've got Bruno Fernandes, because Amorim wants another midfielder who's going to replace Bruno from dropping back in. Bruno's always going to play. Ahmad is always going to play. If we're not in the Champions League, where does Garnacho fit in? Where? There isn't enough games for him. You've also got Joshua Zirkzee in to go in at number 10. Garnacho is hardly going to start a game. He'll be starting the odd one here and there, but for someone who thinks that he should be playing all of the time, and this is what I've always said, Garnacho's decision will come when he realises where he is in the pecking order. And I think he will find out very, very quickly. And I think United have to let these players know very, very quickly where they're going to be and what the plans are for the summer, so they can make a decision on whether they want to still be at Manchester United. Because Ruben said he wants to keep Garnacho. I guarantee if you said to Ruben Amorim that if you sell Garnacho, you could bring in Matheus Cunha and another 10 or another forward or another midfielder for selling Garnacho, I think he sells him. Because he knows he hasn't got time, and he knows he has to make big decisions, and he knows that the players will always outlast him. So why not use what you've got to make what works for you happen quicker, is what I say. And that's how I think Ruben has to look at this summer. And that takes us into the Onana one. I'm like, why would you even think that you're okay? There's no reasoning behind keeping Onana is going to help Ruben Amorim. Feel sorry for Rasmus, but he's just not good enough for us. Let's face it, says Babs. I think we are getting confused. Rasmus is worth 50p, not 50 million. Says Welsh Red. George Oliver says Unai Simon, keeper for Spain, is only options. No, he's not, because we can never get him. I still want a new goalkeeper, says David. Garnacho should be sold, says Nico. Onana is definitely not a keeper. It says boxing. Amorim has been saying Garnacho has been improving. He will definitely play him. I don't think so, mate. You've got to look at the reality. Bruno, Ahmad, Garnacho. What's your pecking order? I don't care what Ruben says. He's never going to drop Bruno. And Ahmad is the best thing that Manchester United have got right now. He's not going to drop him. So if he's going for a right wing back, he's going for a central midfielder, which is going to take Bruno's role. Who do you think is going to start in them 10s? It's not Garnacho, mate. It's not going to happen. It's going to be Bruno and Ahmad. And then you're probably looking at Mount ahead of him because he loves Mount more. And then you've got Xerxes to come in. You could say, like, Garnacho's fighting for 4th and 5th choice number 10 right now when everyone's fit. And that's with bringing nobody in. Can you imagine if Cunha comes in? Ahmad goes to 5th. Sorry, Garnacho goes to 5th choice number 10 if Cunha comes in and everyone's available. That's the reality. That's what people are not getting, I don't think. But yes, Garnacho definitely is up for grabs for anybody in Europe, I think, because I think he will be used by United financially. I'm tending to think that there might not be as much of a clamour to move him on if we make the Champions League. I don't think there's going to be a big shift if United have got the Champions League money. But if we're not, I think you could see Garnacho leaving. I really do. Let's get some more comments in on this one as well, everybody. Ross says, the other negative thing about Osimhen is the salary. He will command, I think United would, the salary that he would command, I think United would want some of the higher salary commitments behind them before they take on another big price player. The confidence within Manchester United right now of moving Sancho, Antony and Rashford, 3 players there in the top 10 of Manchester United, in top 5 Manchester United earners actually at the football club right now, officially still on the books because they're all out on loan. 3 of Manchester United's top 5 earners being out on loan is ridiculous anyway and shows you how crap Manchester United were run in the past. But United are confident that Antony, Rashford and Sancho will be all out the door. And if you move Casemiro on because you want another central midfielder, can you imagine that? That, when you look at it and you break it down, is near, 1.2, 1.3 million a week in wages off United's books. Staggering numbers. Villa have just taken the lead against Newcastle. Go on the Villains. Big result for them. Massive result if they can pull that one off. Ahmad over Garnacho all day long, says Welsh Red. Imagine getting Champions League, selling Sancho, Rashford and Antony out. Would give a lot of money. It would give us an awful lot of money and room to play. It would. Manchester United and needs to go all out in the summer. We are 14th, for God's sake. We have to remember that as well. We have to remember that Man United are in the middle of their worst Premier League season in the club's history, and we cannot get carried away. I've said this before as well, and I'm not going to be the broken record and say it over and over again, but let's be real. There is a massive, massive piece of paper, which is quite strong because it carries the Champions League with it, covering over a gaping canyon. Not a crack, a gaping canyon in Manchester United right now, and how this club is being run and what this team is like and how good this team is. That's what the Europa League is. It is a very, very strong piece of paper covering up that gaping canyon, which is the issue at Manchester United. It needs to be worked underneath. It's like you're putting the canopy across so no rain gets in and then do the work in that canyon to try and fix it and close it up. That's what that Europa League does. But you have to act well in the transfer market for that to happen. And that is what we're all banking on. And we're all concerned about at the same time. Because we just don't know. We just don't know. We've got form for blowing things and spending money stupidly when we get in the Champions League. But we've also got to look at the new recruitment team that's in and the new structure that's in and hope that that is the change this time. And we are going to be a little bit different. So, yeah, let's see. Let's see on this one. Let's get some more chatting anyway. Cliff Red says, I have a feeling Garnacho stays. He's going to be the next Adnan Januzaj. Sell him to some foreign team, though, and not a Premier League team. Depends where he wants to go. The word on Garnacho is the Atletico Madrid want him back. We covered that the other day. That's a big story that could come about in the summer. Simeone wanting him back again. Obviously, Antony is a top target as well for Atletico Madrid. Could we get a double hit on that one? It's ballsy, isn't it? from Atletico, but they've got the money. And we know that they pay the wages. I could definitely see Garnacho going over to Atletico. 100% can see Antony going over to Atletico Madrid as well. I think Jadon Sancho will end up in Germany. Rashford has to stay at Villa. If he's got anything about him, stay at Villa, please. Seriously, Maguire is our best number 9 at the moment. I don't think there's anyone in the chat that disagrees with you. There isn't. In terms of the chat as well, we have had a poll running as well throughout the show. Is this Ruben putting his trust in Onana? Some people saying yes, 32%. No, there is more to this. In terms of 68% of you saying that. There's more to this that meets the eye regarding this story going around. And again, if you have just joined us, there is a story circulating that Ruben Amorim has told the recruitment team he is not looking for a keeper. He's happy with Andre Onana being number 1. Yes, that was a cold shiver, a cold sobering shiver, which will take your focus off what was Thursday night's jubilation and put you back in the real world of what Manchester United have got in front of them. If Onana stays, we're back to where we was the previous 2 seasons, of him literally costing Manchester United week in, week out in different competitions, and then trying to claim he has been part of the success of Manchester United. Look, if he turns it around, I will sit here, I will take the L, I will apologise to Andre Onana live on air. I'm convinced and I'm certain that I won't have to do that though. I've seen enough already. David says, we need Cunha like yesterday. We don't need Osimhen. He's sometimes as frustrating as Garnacho. And he has an ego which we don't want. We need 2 strikers because Mount and Ahmad aren't guaranteed all season. Cunha covers 9 and 10. So you could say there's 1. And like we said before, Delap, there's 2. So 2 strikers. A 10 to cover Ahmad, like you said, and Mount as well. Cunha, definitely, David. I totally hear what you're saying. 100% is a needs must for Manchester United, I think. He has to be our top target going into the summer. Has to be, surely. 50 to 60 mil for Garnacho, Rashford, Antony, Rashford, Sancho, Eriksen, Casemiro, Lindelof, all gone. Then we have to replace all these. Just saying, no, we really don't. Do we? Let's be honest. Are we really looking to replace Lindelof? We've got heaven. No, I'll say that straight away. Casemiro. Are we really looking to replace Casemiro? He's only just come into the side. Let's not forget that. Eriksen, are you serious right now? No, we don't. We have got players there already. Sancho hasn't played for Man United for 2 years, so we're not replacing Jadon Sancho. It's not like we're desperate for him. What did Antony do for Ruben Amorim? What did Marcus Rashford do for Ruben Amorim? I get it. We are going to sell. If we sell these players, then we've got money to bring other players in. But I would not be reliant on any of these players. Garnacho's the only one in there. If you sell, I think we desperately need to replace. Honestly. You look at what Antony's going to do. Where is Antony going to fit in this side? What is Rashford going to do in this side right now? Where is Sancho fitting in this side? Eriksen is a waste of time when he comes on. He offers us nothing in this side. Lindelof, well, seriously? No, I don't think we need to replace all of them players. I really don't. Do you think we will go on loan when Leon comes? Do you think he will go... Sorry, do you think we will... Do you think... Oh... You're supposed to say, who do you think will go on loan when Leon comes? I think some youngsters who get the chance and have a good game can get a better loan move. Look, I feel... You mean Amas? Okay, I got you on that one, mate. Amas, possibly, yes. Could be cover. Could be squad depth. But Leon and Dorgu, I think, will be number 1 and number 2 on the left-hand side. If he does go out and buy, say, for instance, just using this as an example because he's apparently saying he wants a right wing-back... Roger Fernandez from Braga comes in. You're looking at Roger Fernandez and Dallo. And you've got Kamasin and Mantato coming through to cover them, just like Kamas would cover the other 2 on the other side. I think if we get Champions League, we're going to need to go out and buy a right wing back and possibly keep all of them academy players as well, just to cover certain games and rotate. If we've just got the Premier League and the domestic cups because we're out of Europe, that changes again. It changes because Manchester United don't need as big a squad. I think they will actually look at that and say we don't need as many players if we don't get Champions League football anyway. That's my opinion on that. Let's get a few more comments in, everybody. Creeping up to the 200 live. Like Mark, that's absolutely brilliant. There's actually a big game going on right now, and we've still got loads of people in the room. Love it, everyone. Please give the video a like if you're liking the content as well. Don't forget, match day content starts tomorrow at 8 o'clock sharp. Maybe a little bit over in case of sleep. I am going out to have some food and a drink tonight, so I'm going to enjoy that. But I'll be back with you at 8 o'clock, of course, in the morning, to make sure that you're there on that one. And obviously, full day's content as well in and around Old Trafford. After the game reaction, and we're going to have an evening show live. We'll get Jay on that as well, who has made it back to Ireland after that absolutely epic night on Thursday in the Europa League for Manchester United. So yes, plenty on tomorrow, everyone, so make sure that you have got that subscribe button well and truly pressed, and you've got your bell notifications on to keep fully up to date with everything going on as well. Quick shout out quickly while we're on as well to our match weekend sponsors, Match Bingo. You know the score, everybody. You can see the logo there right in the bottom corner, bottom left hand corner. That's the QR code for Match Bingo. Get your Match Bingo cards now. Download the app using the link in the description, or scan that QR code right there. Match Bingo, bring in the bingo cards to the betting room. All you have to do is grab your card for Wolves v United. Get 5 in a row on a line like you would in bingo. They're match events. You get money. More money if you get another 5 in a row. And then jackpot if you get all of them. Match events range from throw-ins to free kicks to goals, hitting the crossbar, substitutes, anything. You don't need to think about it at all. Be part of the game. Join us on FUTV on Match Bingo. Thanks for them again for sponsoring our weekend. Absolutely brilliant. And everything does help the channel as well. So if you do go download it, thank you very much, everybody, and everyone who already has done. Improvements coming in there as well, and a few more options coming up on Match Bingo, so keep you posted when that happens as well also. But yeah, that pretty much sums up our show. You're covered. 4-1 to Villa. Where did that come from? Jesus. Well done, Villa. They are rocking and rolling right now. But yes, may catch the last bit of that game, but that is our show done. Just wanted to keep you up to date with everything that's going on with Manchester United. So if you are playing catch up and watching this later on, please do drop your comments in, like I said, in the comments section below. Give it a like as well if you've loved the content and the show, and obviously make sure you've hit that subscribe button as well, everybody. I will see you all tomorrow, and please do let me know in the morning if you're in on the morning show, if you're actually going to the Wolves game. We will be there. Me and Kaz are both going tomorrow, so looking forward to seeing a few more people again. And that's it for now, everyone. Thank you so much. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy the football. And I will see you bright and early, 8 o'clock tomorrow. Have a fantastic one, everybody.